How's it going, everyone? We're playing STONEBLOCK today. STONEBLOCK's namesake is the classic Minecraft map Skyblock, the only difference being that instead of starting on a tiny island in the sky, we're buried quite literally 200 blocks under in a world with nothing but cold, hard stone. Oh, and there's 200 mods installed, but other than that, it's just like Skyblock. If you have functioning eyeballs, you might notice that we start with literally fuck all around us. Nothing but this lone torch that glows on our back and this little Game Boy doohickey, which when open tells us we need to punch stone. And boy do we punch. In fact, we punch so hard that we get some stone pebbles, which can be used to make cobblestone. An absolutely fantastic start. This Game Boy has the added benefit of supply dropping us loot boxes, Fortnite style, every time we complete a quest. Opening up said loot box gives us chance cubes. Are these just straight up lucky blocks? Oh, hell yeah, we got wool. Let's open another. Oh, what the Wonderful. After getting sumo slammed by an end crystal, we collect- God damn it, give me a break! We collect our shit and continue on to the next quest. The Game Boy is telling us to make a fucking crafting table using cobblestone? What? Unfortunately, given our absurd circumstance, saying no is not an option, so we make that goddamn stone crafting table, which lets us, you guessed it, craft. We are also blessed with another EA-style loot box, which gives us a giant fistful of fuck all. The next quest tells us to get 10 dirt, and the more perceptive ones out there might notice there is absolutely no dirt anywhere near us. Fortunately, the Game Boy tells us that we can hammer cobblestone into gravel and then gravel to dirt because we sure as hell are not getting dirt via Void Resource Miner 1. We make stone rods, ham-fist them together with cobblestone to create a hammer, which lets us not only break even more stone at speeds never before achieved, but break cobblestone down into gravel, and then gravel down to dirt. This is also when I discover Vein Miner, which will reduce the time it takes for me to finish this mod pack from 47 purgatory sentences to just 36. We open our loot box, get shit we won't be able to use for the next 10 hours, and then consult the Game Boy once again for our next quest. We're tasked with making a stone crook, of which there are 2 flavors to choose from. Naturally, I make the one with twice the durability as the other, open our loot box, and get the same shit we got 5 seconds ago. God damn it. The next quest calls for an ungodly amount of saplings, so we get mining, making a ton of cobblestone, turning it all into dirt, which we vein mine all at once with our crook to get quite the assortment of saplings. We realize we're 3 birch saplings short, so we go again, mining cobblestone, mining gravel, and then mining dirt, and now we're 2 birch saplings short instead of 3. I am slowly losing it. Naturally, we plant our newfound saplings, which, when grown into a tree, takes up 98% of the limited space we have in this little crack house we call home. We use our wood to make a crafting table, and then a sweet, delectable, downright gorgeous crafting station, which will replace our stone crafting table. The stone crafting table will now take on the spirit of every Blockbuster and Kmart, put in this chest, and forgotten for the rest of time. We open our next loot box and get Draconic Cores, an item which won't be useful for the foreseeable future. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, STONEBLOCK. The next quest requires 16 oak logs, which Vein Miner makes quick work of. We get another loot box, and we get more shit we won't be using. I'm slowly learning to just not expect much from these goddamn loot boxes. We begin clearing out more space so that we're able to walk from point A to point B without tripping over every block in here and then getting laughed at by our crush. Vein Miner allows us to clear out large areas very quickly but drains our hunger just as fast. With the goal of making more room, we must break a chance cube I put down earlier for light, and it summons a baby zombie named Leonidas, which tosses our salad so hard with the force of 1,000 angry undeads. Oh my god, what are they feeding baby zombies nowadays? We die, lose our shit, our dignity, and our wives while he breakdances on our grave. It has become clear that food is a major issue, and using Vein Miner for extended periods of time cripples your hunger faster than head-on-head car crashes cripples people. Fortunately, using the crook on leaves grants higher drop chances on saplings, apples, and silkworms. I don't know what those are used for, so I'll just put them in this chest to writhe around in. Apples kind of suck at life when it comes to food, so we immediately scour the recipes apples are used in, and find cooked apples, giving an ungodly amount of hunger compared to other recipes. We instantly craft up a furnace and throw those apples in there. Absolutely scrumptious, delectable even. Looking back at the quest tree, we notice something familiar. Tinker's Construct. Now there's a mod I can get down and dirty with. Tool station, stencil table, part builder, all the necessary workbenches. I then proceed to put them down in this corner where they will collect dust until I'm done with this god-forsaken world. We open the loot box for the quest and get a diamond furnace. Finally, something we can actually fucking use. It does exactly what we think it does. It spits in the face of every other furnace and puts them to shame. Look at this speed. We make chest, get loot box, open loot box, and get florb. 8 of them to be precise. What the actual fuck are the— oh, shit. Is that snow? Alright, stand back everyone. Do not try this at home. Alright, this does in fact do damage. We've got a giant puddle of fucking coolant in the base now. Up next, it seems we are to get string. Now, had I just sifted through the recipes like I did with dirt and apples, or even just read the goddamn Game Boy for 2 seconds, I would have realized that you can infest tree leaves with those silkworms I got earlier, wait for them to turn white, and then break the leaves with a crook to get string. A mechanic I already knew about in the back of my mind via other mod packs as well. But instead, I opted to shorten my lifespan by several years and built an entire mob farm to kill spiders to get string. Construction begins by digging up several blocks and then painstakingly clearing out an 18 by 18 by 3 area, block by block, with nothing but shitty stone hammers. 2 wide water channels are carved on each side. You've all seen this mob farm before, alright? I don't need to explain the science behind it. We light up the roof and surrounding areas to confine mob spawns to inside the farm. Speaking of inside, we also remove the torches within the mob spawn area so mobs can start spawning, finish the kill chamber at the bottom, and then wait a little bit for mobs to accumulate. In the meantime, we discover something called a stone all-in-one tool, which, as the name suggests, is an amalgamation of every stone tool in one, saving us a considerable amount of inventory space. We go check on the mob farm in hopes of finding a cluster of spiders ready to give us string, skeletons, boning, zombies, zombieing, but no, what do we find instead? One single creeper. Just hanging out, just chilling in the kill chamber like he owns the place. He even threatens to blow us up for stepping on his lawn, so we quickly give him an eviction notice before going up to see what is wrong with the farm. We take a peek inside and see that mobs are in fact spawning, but we forgot one crucial part of the mob farm, the one thing that makes the entire thing work. The water. We must relight the mob farm to stop the spawn so we can get water up there and— no, please. No, don't. Oh my god, oh my god. We then proceed to get our faces eaten off by a spider, which when killed turns into 48 more. God damn it. But we keep our cool. This is only a minor inconvenience. I can't do— I'm gonna lose. As you can see, we are calm, stoic, and not letting this get under our skin at all. We manage to get our stuff, genocide the remaining spiders, and then enjoy a cooked apple for our troubles. During our light meal, a creeper and zombie shows us what it means to be put into a full Nelson and fucked both ways. If another zombie so much as so looks at me wrong, I'm gonna take every keycap off my keyboard and eat it like milk and cereal. Yeah, how does it feel to get fisted? Doesn't feel good, now does it? Some say success is the best revenge. I humbly retort, sending zombies to hell rather than back to the grave makes me sleep better at night. We repair the mob farm, and instead of learning from our mistakes and working to get water, we instead make a handful of trapdoors and line the edges of the drop areas with them. The idea being that mobs detect these as full blocks and will try to walk over them more often. Of course, this doesn't change the fact that there still is no water in this mob farm anywhere. Naturally, things go very wrong 5 seconds later. No, oh my— this is not good. This is not good. What? Holy shit! What the fuck? I just got drone striked. Without hesitation, we make temporary defenses so our main base isn't infested with creepers before clearing out the area, one festering, putrid mob at a time. We then proceed to pave right over the kill chamber until we grow balls big enough to venture back up there. During that whole ordeal, I'd set up some oak crucibles which slowly converts organic matter such as leaves and saplings to water. Emphasis on the slowly. I've seen foot races at retirement homes faster than this conversion rate. This pool of water is where we will be drinking from, showering in, brushing our teeth with, and taking shits in for the rest of the duration of this playthrough. Nonetheless, we get 2 buckets of water to make an infinite water source which we can finally use to complete the mob farm. Now you're probably asking, how did you get buckets? You didn't have any iron, to which I say, loot bag. We open up the kill chamber, place down some ladders, and then we die. Get our stuff. Die. Try to get our stuff. Die while trying to get our stuff. Die. 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 Oh my god! Finally get our stuff. Show a skeleton what it's like to get boned for once. And finally, at long last, we can place water in our mob farm. With the mob farm now complete, we once again remove the torches, haul ass down the kill chamber, and seal it off. I'm never going up there again under any circumstances. We also take the time to remove all of our death markers, all 400 of them. Now let me remind you the reason we went through this whole charade, this whole song and dance of building a mob farm. It was to get 32 string to complete the next goddamn quest. It is here that I realized we could have infested leaves all along and saved us from going through all 5 stages of grief. And there was only one word that could have described my emotions then. Fuck. On the bright side, now we have a super powerful mob farm since every mob will spawn up there since there's nowhere else for them to spawn. So, you know, silver lining to never mind. We finally, at long last, make a mesh, and with this sieve and mesh we can sift various blocks such as gravel, dirt, sand, and dust, but probably not dirt because half the shit you get from dirt is damn near useless. With that being said, we start sifting gravel as fast as our Lego hands will let us sift. I even opted to turn on my auto-clicker, which I swear made me sieve slower. I guess this game has some anti-auto-clicking measures, so I went back to the bread and butter of using tape on my mouse, but was too lazy to tape down right-click, so I just put the whole tape dispenser on the right-click button. Anyways, we get flint and almost instantly replace our silk mesh with a flint mesh, which gives us higher drop chances for items. It is also here which I discovered the almighty heavy sieve, which looks like a slightly shorter normal sieve, but we all know that shorter is better, am I right guys? Trick question, I'm always right, especially so in this case, because we can make compressed gravel and use that in the heavy sieve, essentially increasing our sieving speed 9-fold. We do the sieving equivalent of hauling ass, get 2 monkeys' fistfuls of loot, and make iron ore chunks, which we throw in a furnace to make iron ingots. We then upgrade our mesh once again to iron stiffen, giving us access to diamonds and emeralds. Compressed hammer? What the fuck? Does this do what I think it does? There's no way. Holy shit. This discovery, on par with the discovery of fire, further reduces the rate at which our hairline recedes due to unwanted stress from thinking about our ever-shortening lifespan while we sit here and hold down right-click in front of a virtual sieve. Naturally, we make a metric shitload of compressed cobblestone, and for all the Americans watching this, the equivalent weight of 20 upside-down Ford F-150s. We sieve so incredibly hard we nearly burn a hole through our monitors, damage our retinas from staring too long, and get a respectable amount of loot that we instantly stash and half of which we will probably never touch again. The next quest wants us to make clay, which is done by putting dust in any water-filled crucible, setting us up for the next quest, which is to make a crucible. But wait, these numbers don't add up. I thought you said we just had a crucible. Wrong, this one's made of porcelain clay, which we get from potato mashing clay and bone meal together. But wait, there's more. This recipe makes an unfired crucible. To get the crucible fired, we tell it to go into a furnace and take a shit on his boss's desk. We put that bad boy down, and as per the Game Boy, this thing turns stone into lava, so we take some cobblestone, put it in the crucible, and wait. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait some more, and after waiting for 5 real-life minutes, I begin to realize that this is not, in fact, turning into lava. If I had just read slightly more of the quest, I would have realized that this crucible requires heat to function. I just spent 5 real-life minutes. Minutes I will never get back, watching literally fucking nothing happen. By putting a heat source under the crucible, it now begins to melt the cobblestone. Wonderful. However, this melting process is, how do I say this? Slow as shit, even slower than the time it takes for one scheduled license renewal. Luckily for us, it appears that different heat sources melts cobblestone faster, so we say fuck the torches, fuck the lava, we skip right to fire with an absolutely, dare I say, magnificent 5 times melting rate. We craft up a flint and steel, light that bad boy on fire, and we do see that 5 times melting speed go to town on that cobblestone. Before we know it, we are in possession of a bucket of lava, which we hold in our bare hands with absolutely no repercussions. From here, we can do one of two things with the lava. We can either create obsidian, or we can make a cobblestone generator. Considering the fire keeping our crucible alive keeps going out, we opt to make obsidian in hopes of building another portal to get netherrack, which would keep the fire ignited indefinitely. We make a diamond pickaxe, and what follows is an outrageous amount of time spent putting cobblestone into the crucible, waiting for it to turn to lava, turn lava into obsidian, break obsidian, and rinse and repeat 9 more times before we can make that goddamn motherfucking nether portal. After what feels like a time span equal to the half-life of uranium-235, we build the portal, we enter, grab one piece of netherrack, and immediately leave in fear of getting our testicles fondled by a ghast. Having access to the nether also means we can get ores normally difficult to obtain, such as cobalt and ardite, killing no birds with 10 obsidian. We take a break from completing quests and open some of the loot boxes we've accumulated and get garbage, shit-ass loot, garbage, less than garbage, Oscar the Grouch is home. Can I get a single shred of decent loot? Please! Garbage and garbage. No, that's fine. It's not like we needed actual gear or anything. That's fine. That's cool. As you can see, we maintain an unbelievable amount of poise after getting this quote-unquote loot from those loot boxes. We move on to a quest which we have neglected severely and begin by getting an ungodly amount of gravel, sand, and clay, each taking longer to get than the last. Combining the 3, we make a metric shitload of grout, which, just to remind you, is equal to 20 Ford F-150s by weight and at least 2,000 Big Macs by volume. Grout, when spit roasted in a furnace at 3,000 degrees Celsius, grants us seared bricks, which allows us to make all the necessary components of a Tinker's Construct forge. We set this bad boy up and dump some lava into the seared tank, and now we're ready to smelt ores in the forge instead of in a furnace. The benefits include getting 2 ingots per ore chunk as opposed to 1, being able to smelt stacks of chunks at once when we expand the forge, and growing our magnum dong an extra 4 inches, giving us 4 total inches. We get more punji sticks from our next loot box, which we are not mad about at all. If I get one more set of punji sticks, I'm going to shove them so far up this game's ass. Cool, calm, and collected, we continue down the quest tree with the cobblestone generator. The recipe is fairly easy to make as we have all the materials on hand, so we craft that bad boy up. We also make a chest which gets put on top of said cobblestone generator as it outputs into an inventory above, and we see that this generator is in fact shitting out cobblestone. We can take this not 1 but 2 steps further and upgrade this cobblestone generator to iron tier and then diamond tier, which makes cobblestone 4 times faster than the original one. Now you may be asking, why do we need a cobblestone generator when we are quite literally surrounded by stone in all directions, including backwards in time? This is where we diverge from following the quest book and become a strong, independent Minecraft player. You know, we don't need no quest book to tell us what to do, just like how we don't need no men who build skyscrapers, clean sewers, mine coal, take your garbage away, and keep modern society afloat. Who needs those guys, am I right? I've been advised to not continue this joke any further and instead look into forms of automating the tedious process that is getting cobblestone, compressing it, hammering it into gravel, compressing it, and then sitting in front of our monitors for extended periods of time, developing swamp ass as we sieve. Our suspicions are confirmed when we see we can craft auto hammers and auto sieves. We immediately make one of each and see that they require power, so we look into forms of power generation. We open the loot box from getting a cobblestone generator and get a repair talisman, which automatically repairs all tools in your inventory. This singular item right here makes up for the 7 billion punji sticks we have gotten since we loaded into the world. Fortunately, the Game Boy has an entire section dedicated to power production, so that we're not just limp dick in hand trying to figure out which of the 72 generators we should use. We can either choose to make generators or solar panels, and considering the fact that we are underground with absolutely no sunlight anywhere, we opt to make generators. We make a survival generator and take a look at the furnace generator, which only requires slightly more materials, so we make one of each and do a side-by-side comparison and find that this furnace generator leaves the survival generator in the fucking dust. God damn! Upon closer inspection, the furnace generator does not produce more power per coal, but simply burns through coal faster, using up 1 coal in just 20 seconds compared to the 13 minutes and 20 seconds the survival generator takes. We throw that survival generator into a chest where it will collect dust, cobwebs, and never see the light of day again while we make more furnace generators. With a steady supply of energy, we make some energy transfer cables, which requires a downright illegal amount of clay to produce. Clay is one of those few items which on paper is extremely bountiful, as it only requires us to put dust in water, but is so boring to do we'd rather watch paint dry. So we begin looking for ways to automate the production of clay, and we find an item called an aqueous accumulator, which is made of an assortment of iron, glass, redstone, and tin. When placed in water, it begins to, and 10 points to whoever guessed right, accumulate water. By using a fluid extraction cable, we can automatically fill the barrel with water, and then using an item extraction cable to pull dust from a chest, we can automatically put dust in the barrel, making clay. And then using another item extraction cable, we can pull the clay out into another chest, and there we have it. Automated clay. Fantastic. We use energy extraction cables to pull the energy from our generators and then into our auto hammer and auto sieve. With item extraction cables, we can route cobblestone into the auto hammer where it turns to gravel, and then we can route the gravel into the auto sieve. And then from the sieve, we can route the output into a chest, and we have created our first automated machine. The first step into space colonization. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. This feels like a good stopping point. We completed many quests, constructed a mob farm, sustained crippling shell shock, traveled to the nether, albeit for half a second, and have an automatic, endless supply of resources. Part 2 may or may not be out within the next 3 decades, depending on how hard I get steamrolled by college. And if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, or don't, and take it easy, everyone.